Oh, you should really get on Insta, Snapchat, and TikTok.
I find social media to be a soul-sucking void of meaningless affirmation.
In this scene, Wednesday Addams has just arrived at a new school that's very different from any school that you've seen. Stay tuned to see why and to also learn some cool slang words like snarky, cliques, and outcasts. First, we'll watch part of the clip with subtitles.
Welcome to the quad. It's a pentagon.
The whole snarky goth girl thing might have worked at normie school, but here things are different. Let me give you a wiki on Nevermore's social scene.
I'm not interested in participating in tribal adolescent cliches.
Then use it to fuel your obviously bottomless pit of disdain. There are many flavors of outcasts here, but the four main cliques are fangs, furs, stoners, and scales. Those are the fangs, aka vampires.
Now we'll break down the video and learn new vocabulary.
Welcome to the quad. It's a pentagon.
The root word quad means four. So in this context, a quad is a square space outside with buildings on all four sides. It's a very common hangout spot for students in schools and universities. And sometimes it's called that even when it's not technically a quad. Just like in this clip when Wednesday points out it's a pentagon, meaning it has 5 sides, not 4.
Welcome to the quad. It's a pentagon.
The whole snarky goth girl thing might have worked at normie school, but here things are different.
Snarky means critical or mocking in a sarcastic way. Wednesday is very snarky because even when people are trying to be nice to her, she responds by sarcastically mocking them, just like this.
OMG, you look perfect!
Only thing, where are your whiskers? Ask again and you'll be down to 8 lives.
Even though Enid is being nice to her in both clips, Wednesday is being snarky to her. Goth is a description used when a person wears mostly black clothing, has black hair, and uses dark, dramatic makeup. So, what Enid means in this clip by saying snarky goth is a person who wears mostly black clothing and is critical or mocking in a sarcastic way. Normie is an abbreviation or shortened form of the word normal. So, you can use it to replace the word normal in any sentence. For instance, I just want to be a normie girl. It's very common to hear natives abbreviate words and have them end in IE, like selfie, which is short for self-portrait. So overall, in this clip, Enid is telling Wednesday that since she's not at a normal school anymore and she's at a monster school now, her usual sarcastic attitude and dark personality won't work well here.
The whole snarky goth girl thing might have worked at normie school, but here things are different. Let me give you a wiki on Nevermore's social scene.
The word wiki is from the Hawaiian native language, meaning to hurry, fast, or quick. That's how the website Wikipedia got its name. It's a combination of wiki, meaning fast, and pedia, meaning related to learning. Put it together and you have fast learning. For instance, if you don't know how to do a certain dance, you can ask someone for a wiki on how to do it, which means a quick explanation of how to do the dance. Social scene in this context means the different groups of students who socialize with each other. So here, Enid is saying she will give Wednesday a quick explanation of all the different groups of students at Nevermore, which we'll learn more about shortly.
Let me give you a wiki on Nevermore's social scene.
I'm not interested in participating in tribal adolescent cliches.
Adolescent is the term used for young people that are between puberty and adulthood, more commonly referred to as teenagers. For instance, many people might say the show Wednesday is an adolescent show because the main characters are in high school. A cliche is a stereotype or something that is overused to the point of losing its original meaning or effect. For instance, The popular saying, opposites attract, is cliche because it's overused and has lost its meaning. In this scene, Wednesday says it's a stereotype that all high school girls are interested in the social scene because she's not.
I'm not interested in participating in tribal adolescent cliches. Then use it to fuel your obviously bottomless pit of disdain.
Bottom means the lower part of something, and the suffix less means without. Just like the words helpless or fearless, meaning without help or without fear. So, if you put them together, it means there is no bottom or end. Next is pit, which means a large hole in the ground. And lastly is disdain, which means the feeling that something is not worthy of your respect. So, this expression, bottomless pit of disdain, is a metaphor, meaning a never-ending feeling that something is not worthy of your respect.
Then use it to fuel your obviously bottomless pit of disdain. There are many flavors of outcasts here.
Outcasts are people who have been rejected by society or a social group. Since a lot of students at Nevermore are monsters or have social powers, they don't really fit in with students at regular school. That's why Nevermore says it's a school for outcasts, freaks, and monsters.
There are many flavors of outcasts here, but the four main cliques are fangs, furs, stoners, and scales.
Cliques are a small group of people with similar interests who spend time together and don't really let others join them. A perfect example of this is the Plastics in the movie Mean Girls. It's 3 popular girls as the clique, and they don't let anyone sit with them or hang out with them. Make sure to check out this video after you finish this one to learn some fun English phrases with Mean Girls. All right, now let's get into the 4 main cliques at Nevermore, starting with fangs, which literally means large, sharp teeth. Some animals that typically have fangs are hippos, walruses, snakes, and tigers. But in this context, it's a nickname for vampires, since they have fangs to suck blood. Next, we have fur, which is the short, fine, soft hair of certain animals. Some animals that typically have fur are cats, bears, rabbits, and lions. At Nevermore, furs is a nickname for werewolves since they have fur on their bodies. Stoners are people who regularly take drugs. But in this context of Wednesday, stoners actually represent people who are able to turn others into stone, like Medusa. And lastly, scales are small, thin, bony plates protecting the skin of fish and reptiles. At Nevermore, scales is a nickname for sirens, which are similar to mermaids, but more on that in a little bit. So, to recap, in this context, students at school use the name fangs, furs, stoners, and scales as nicknames for mythical creatures and cliques on campus.
But the four main cliques are fangs, furs, stoners, and scales. Those are the fangs, aka vampires.
AKA is an acronym for also known as. It's commonly used in everyday English when we're saying another name for something. For instance, you could say Lord Voldemort, AKA he who must not be named, or the real Jack Sparrow, aka Johnny Depp. So in this clip, Enid is saying fangs, aka vampires, meaning fangs is another name for vampires at Nevermore. Acronyms are super popular in everyday English. We love to say things as fast as possible, so acronyms help us do that. But sometimes acronyms can be confusing because there's no real definition for them. For instance, in a recent video that we posted, Rihanna talks about her organization, CLF. But if you just type into Google CLF, you'll get a lot of different answers that aren't what we're looking for. When you're learning a new language and you see a word that you don't know, like an acronym, and you can't find the right definition, it can be very frustrating. This is why I recommend learning languages with FluentU. So when you see an unfamiliar word or acronym, you just click on it to see a context-specific definition, along with real-world example videos like movie scenes, TED Talks, and music videos that all have accurate and interactive subtitles. After each video, you can take a personalized quiz and answer speaking questions, so you can actually practice everything that you're learning. If you've only used traditional language learning apps before, you'll be amazed by how effective learning on FluentU is. You can try it for free by signing up for a 2-week trial using the link in the description below. Plus, FluentU is currently having a sale, so now is a great time to check it out.
Those are the fangs, aka vampires. Some of them have literally been here for decades. That bunch of knuckleheads are furs, aka werewolves, like me.
A knucklehead means a stupid person or a fool, but most of the time we use it in English as a light-hearted joke, not as an insult. For instance, look at those two knuckleheads fighting.
That bunch of knuckleheads are furs, aka werewolves, like me. Full moons get pretty loud around here. That's when furs like wolf out.
In English, we add the word out sometimes to emphasize the word before it. For example, I'm totally going to geek out at the Twilight premiere tonight. This means we're emphasizing the word geek. In other words, I'm totally going to be a geek tonight at the Twilight premiere. So in this clip, Enid says on full moons, that's when furs wolf out, aka they become wolves.
Full moons get pretty loud around here. That's when furs like wolf out. I suggest you pick up some noise-canceling headphones.
Pick up literally means to pick an object up off of something. Here, Enid isn't being so literal. In English, we say pick up as a general term for going to get something or someone. Like, did you pick up the kids from school? So, in Enid's case, she is telling Wednesday to go buy some noise-canceling headphones before the next full moon.
Suggest you pick up some noise-canceling headphones. I'm assuming scales are sirens. You catch on quick.
Like I briefly talked about earlier, sirens are mythical creatures that are very similar to mermaids. That's why their nickname is scales, because when they touch water, you can see their scales. Catch on is a phrase that means to understand something. For instance, she doesn't know how to ride a bike, but she'll catch on, meaning she'll understand eventually. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, please give us a like and don't forget to subscribe to the FluentU English channel so you don't miss out on our upcoming videos, like Learn English with the Avengers.
I'm assuming scales are sirens. You catch on quick. And that girl, Bianca Barclay, is the closest thing Nevermore has to royalty. Although her crown's been slipping lately.
Royalty literally means someone of royal blood or status. But in this case, Enid is saying Bianca is royalty on campus, which is commonly how popular people in school are referred to. So she doesn't actually have royal blood, but she's treated like she does when she's at school. Slipping is the act of sliding unintentionally. Her crown's been slipping lately means her crown is physically slipping down. But Enid is using the slipping crown to symbolize that Bianca's popularity on campus is going down. Make sure to be aware of your pronunciation of this word. If you pronounce it E instead of eh, people will think you're saying sleeping, which is a totally different word. So remember, slipping, not sleeping.
And that girl, Bianca Barclay, is the closest thing Nevermore has to royalty. Although her crown's been slipping lately. She used to date a resident tortured artist, Xavier Thorpe.
Tortured artist is a common phrase referring to an artist that struggles, either with themselves or the world. And from that, they gain artistic talent. A tortured artist is kind of a school cliche for the cool guy. In movies and TV shows, these guys are always portrayed as cute, but mysterious.
She used to date a resident tortured artist, Xavier Thorpe, but they broke up at the beginning of the semester. Reason unknown. Fascinating. I know, right?
Technically, we would say the reason is unknown if we wanted to be grammatically correct. The prefix un means not, and known is the past participle of know. So if we put them together, the reason is not known, or we don't know the reason. But in everyday English, it's okay to say shortcuts and slang in an informal setting with your friends. The actual definition for fascinating is extremely interesting. But here, Wednesday is being sarcastic. She says fascinating, which would normally mean she's very interested in this, but she's actually not. Also, if you want to make sure that you remember all of this actually fascinating vocabulary, we've made a PDF vocab guide for this video, which you can download for free using the link in the description.
But they broke up at the beginning of the semester. Reason unknown.
Fascinating.
I know, right? My blog is like the #1 source for Nevermore gossip.
Gossip is a casual conversation about other people, typically involving details that are not confirmed to be true. So in this scene, Enid is saying that the kids at Nevermore read her blog to find out the gossip, or what's going on with other students on campus.
My blog is like the #1 source for Nevermore gossip. You know, it's a small school and there wasn't much online about you. Oh, you know, you should really get on Insta, Snapchat, and TikTok.
Get on means to start or continue doing something. For instance, get on the horse. In this context, Enid is telling Wednesday she needs to make social media profiles. She's not physically getting on Insta, Snapchat, and TikTok since that's impossible.
Oh, you know, you should really get on Insta, Snapchat, and TikTok.
I find social media to be a soul-sucking void of meaningless affirmation.
Let's break this down, starting with soul, which is the spiritual part of a human being. And sucking is the act of getting sucked up, like a vacuum. So when you put those two together, soul sucking literally means the spiritual part of you has been sucked out of your body. So when you say something is soul sucking, it means it's depressingly tedious or tiresome. For instance, some people might think that doing homework is a soul-sucking activity. Void means completely empty, just like this black void of space. Now, let's break down the word meaningless. Meaning is what is meant by a word, concept, or action, and the suffix less means without. So if you put them together, meaningless is without meaning. Affirmation is the act of declaring one's support for. It's common to write words of affirmation in your journal every day. So you write words that you support or make you happy. When Wednesday says social media is a soul-sucking void of meaningless affirmation, what she means is that social media is a tedious activity that gives people support and praise without meaning. AKA, she really doesn't like it.
I find social media to be a soul-sucking void of meaningless affirmation.
Now, let's test your knowledge and watch the clip again without subtitles.
Welcome to the quad.
It's a pentagon.
The whole snarky goth girl thing might have worked at normie school, but here things are different. Let me give you a wiki on Nevermore's social scene.
I'm not interested in participating in tribal adolescent cliches.
Then use it to fuel your obviously bottomless pit of disdain. There are many flavors of outcasts here, but the four main cliques are fangs, furs, stoners, and scales. Those are the fangs, aka vampires. Some of them have literally been here for decades. That bunch of knuckleheads are furs, aka werewolves, like me. Full moons get pretty loud around here. That's when furs like wolf out. I suggest you pick up some noise-canceling headphones.
I'm assuming scales are sirens.
You catch on quick. And that girl, Bianca Barclay, is the closest thing Nevermore has to royalty. Although her crown's been slipping lately. She used to date a resident tortured artist, Xavier Thorpe, but they broke up at the beginning of the semester. Reason unknown.
Fascinating.
I know, right? My blog is like the #1 source for Nevermore gossip. You know, it's a small school and there wasn't much online about you. Oh, you know, you should really get on Insta, Snapchat, and TikTok.
I find social media to be a soul-sucking void of meaningless affirmation.
Phew! Wednesday really does have an extensive vocabulary. Actually, just like Michelle Obama, who who also isn't the biggest fan of social media. Watch this advanced video right here to see what Mrs. Obama thinks about presidents posting on social media. See you over there.